Welcome back to the Bedouin Banter podcast. This is the show where the laptop is continuing, my MacBook is continuing to be a complete dick. As you can hear the fan in the background, it's a damaged MacBook Pro. If you're just joining the podcast for the first time, you don't know about the damage to my MacBook. It has a huge dent on the side right there. You can see the little bend to the top, and it causes this whole thing to just make the fan on the inside stutter, and that's why you have that stupid noise. And the reason I don't have an iPad is because Corona
Corona.
has taken it away from me. But thank you for joining us. I'm here in the studio طبعا مرة ثانية with Ahmed and Matrook.
What's up?
Sup, buddy? Sup, Matrook, man?
It's good to be back,
How
bro.
you doing, man?
It's been a while.
It's been a while.
Been a long while.
And it's been a different kind of season for the podcast. صارك فترة عن الموضوع.
Yeah. Bedouin Ranter.
Yeah.
Going strong.
Solo projects, interviews with Mike Donovan, Mikey D.
Yeah.
So things have been different. But today we're going to be coming back to a new format. Or not even a format, guys. It's the same stuff. We're going to continue with the different shows. So there's going to be Bedouin Ranter, which is my solo show on the podcast. And then there's, of course, Banter Buddies, which is this program with me, Matrook, and any guys that just want to come in and rant about anything, talk about anything, have fun about whatever. And usually that's open forum. And then we have the interview stuff with Bedouins up close. But what I've decided, because a lot of you guys do listen on audio platforms like iTunes, Spotify, and Rami, there's been some neglect on that side. I've been trying to make sure that even stuff that I put on for the video stuff on the YouTube channel, at least that there'd be some audio for you guys to hear. So I've been manually clipping in some of the stuff that the guys on YouTube get to see. And one of the other things that kind of comes up as a complaint is the fact that the numbering system for iTunes and Rami and Spotify is actually really messing up the order of things. So unless you're getting it, sequentially, you're gonna see like Bedouin Ranter number 5, and then Bedouin Up Close number 1, and then
clusterfuck.
Hey, when really since the start of this whole show or this whole podcast, I've had about now it's coming up to now, this is number 28.
Holy shit!
The 28th recording on Bedouin Banter. So what I've decided to do is every episode from now on will be titled Bedouin Banter, and the number. So from today onwards is gonna be 29, 20, 30, 31, etc. And the thumbnail is what's going to make the show different and distinct. So when you see the Bedouin Ranter, that's going to be on a thumbnail. The same thing with Bedouins Up Close. All the information, all the color distinctions and color coding will be on there.
It only took you 28 episodes to figure out.
28 episodes to figure out this shit. But yeah, and you do it now. When you were just coming up to 100 subscribers, that's when you fuck up, Alan. So we got a free form session today. No specific topics, yani, on the show. And Matrook, you've been in isolation for a while.
Yeah, I've been at home like everyone else, just going out to the grocery store, which apparently has become like fucking Seaf Mall right now.
Yeah.
Everyone, bro, Al-Isra and Amwaj is the place to be. Like, you got girls going in full makeup, right?
Yeah.
Like, half of them are not there to shop. They're just like going around looking at people like, oh, who is that? Who's this? Putting on that makeup, dressing up, and the guys as well. Like I saw this one guy in Al-Isra, like full kashka adliya outing kind of uniform, right? You know, the tight white shirt, the jeans, and the boots. And it's like, bro, you're going. And he had like a fucking empty basket in his hand. Like, Ashkara, you're not going there to buy any groceries.
He's bored, man. He just wants to leave his home. He wants to have fun. He wants to go out there in the outdoors and experience life. I didn't get to go out even when they stopped the restrictions and they were like, okay, lockdown is over. Go get your hairs cut. Do whatever you need to do. I didn't do anything.
I don't think barbershops are open now.
No, not now. But you remember when they kind of opened up everything for a while?
There was like a grace period.
There was a grace period, like about a week or so, where you could just go and do whatever, and I didn't do anything.
It's mostly for people to, like you said, cut their hair.
Let's be honest. I don't know if it's the guys, but I'm pretty sure it's also the women. I'm not. That's how much influence we have on politics right now as Khalijis, is that we need to get our hairs cut. We need to get our nails
like
done.
The biggest pressing issue. Like, I don't know if you guys, if anyone like follows me on social media, but I had like a big fucking beard.
Yeah,
it
good.
was huge, right? And I didn't tell you when I shaved it. I shaved it at home. When I was shaving it, there was like the roots of the hair was red.
What?
Yeah, you heard that right. It was red.
Why?
I don't know, bro. It's the Persian blood in me, apparently.
Would you ginger? Are you just like a ginger in the closet or in
I
denial?
It was red. More ginger. It was like تعرف henna when you put henna
Yeah.
on hair.
Did you ever put henna
No,
on your hair?
why would I put henna on my hair, bro?
Did somebody sneak up on you one day and just like slather you with henna?
I mean, I would keep my room unlocked at night, so maybe.
You have a weird family, bro.
Could
I
you?
never understood henna, by the way. I always felt like it was weird. The idea, and I know it's like part of our tradition culturally, and a lot of people like it. But when I see a henna hand,
Yeah.
it just feels like it's like when you see. I don't know why, but it triggers the same instinctive reaction that when you see a guy buying lotion.
Right.
There's something about it that just doesn't
Like
seem
hand
right.
lotion specifically,
Yeah,
right?
just hand lotion, any kind, like just the squeeze ones as well.
You know the whole hand lotion thing. I got into it after watching Ocean's 11. Bernie Mac. There was a scene there when he was like shaking a guy's hand,
Okay.
right? And he was like, "What moisturizer do you use?" Right? And he goes into this talk about all the moisturizers he's tried and everything. I was like, "Man, if Bernie Mac does that shit, I'm gonna do it, right?" But the whole henna thing, what freaks me out about it, like I appreciate the designs and everything, but then you have the old school henna where they would just smear it all over the palm,
Yeah,
and then you have like a brown hand.
that's the one I'm talking about.
It's freaky.
It looks freaky. There's something about it, yani, and it's instinctual. Do you know when like you have a like if you took somebody that's never seen a spider,
Yeah,
but they freak out when they see a spider,
yeah.
and they don't know why? It's like built into our DNA at our core.
It-
I feel like that's the same thing going on there.
Bro, like David looks like she's had her hand like rolling in mud or shit or something.
Yes. There's a certain type of it. Not all of it, Lennon. Let's be honest. Okay, some of it is culturally beautiful. I want to be fair to people because people are gonna be like, "Ah, it's a cultural tradition and we love it. There's so much beautiful henna art."
No.
Yes, Mr. White Person. Yes, there is.
Exactly. It's always a white girl.
It's
right?
always like
It's like the most exciting thing for them when they come to Bahrain. They get henna
they do, yeah.
and they get ripped off.
They
Like,
do. How much
ripped
do they
the
get
fuck
cost though?
off?
Like I think it's like
Bro, it doesn't cost that much, but I know like some people get charged like 10, 15 dinars for like the
Jesus.
design. Yeah.
that's insane. But Sani, at least if you're talking about the level of design and inspiration that goes into it, yeah.
See, that's the problem, right? It's kind of like a tourist restaurant thing. They upcharge with very average food.
Okay.
It's the same with the henna for tourists.
So
here.
is there like you think like specialty henna shops or places that actually do unique designs that nobody gets out there that would be worth the value?
I'm not sure, bro.
Like you
Is there a specialty henna shop? I don't know, ladies.
I would. I
and-
think I would. I would like bring it into the new century, like modernize it a bit.
But like, I don't think you need a specialty henna shop if you want the smear. Just the smear. Like fucking dip your hand in henna. And that's
You can
it.
get the eyes from you remember the monster from Pan's Labyrinth, the
Yeah.
one that does this, they can see from its eyes. And you just hold it up like this. Hey, where's the hummus? That's about it. That's
Like,
all I'm thinking.
I'm actually fucking curious. Is there like a technique that goes to it? Like you know how when you're sanding a wall or something, like you have to get it all smooth.
Yeah.
So you do a couple of runs here and there, and the light just died.
Yeah, I did. Don't worry about it. Everything dies
Like,
on
is
this show,
there like a whole technique?
including the comedy.
Like to have the,
Sorry.
I'm trying.
There is
here.
a technique.
You're the one
I'm
obsessed with
not
the
talking
fucking-
about your. I'm
you're-
trying to figure out the camera. The auto switcher's not working. I'm
You're-
manually switching everything at the moment.
You're the one obsessed with the goddamn
I'm
laptop,
not. I'm
bro.
not. The laptop has stopped doing its stutter.
Oh,
It's no. You see that?
oh,
it's
well-
respectful
it's-
right now.
It's well behaved.
It's well behaved. But now the auto switcher has failed on me, so I'm literally switching manually right now. So it's pretty cool.
No way.
I'll figure it out. Don't worry. We're going on with the settings. But yeah, what I was saying. Oh, there we go. That's the one I'm looking for. Yeah, what I was saying was it takes yani, it takes I feel like a lot of skill to get henna done in a specific way that is not only geometric, but it's kind of like this inspirational feeling of, oh, look at the heritage, look at the straight lines, the curves, everything else that goes with it. And then there's I feel like the lazy henna.
Yeah, which is usually yani synonymous with tourist henna.
Yeah, that's the
Right.
one. Yeah.
But the thing about henna, bro, yani I would put it up there with tattoo artists. Yani some of the designs you see with henna,
Yeah, that's what I mean.
god damn.
That's what I mean. That's why I'm surprised like there's no custom specialty henna shop. You know what I mean? Get
It's-
some logos on there.
You know, I'm like, again, this is a subject that I'm not particularly familiar with, but I think it's dying out.
You think so?
I think yeah. The only time you see a henna on a girl's hand is either like before she's attending a wedding
No, I've heard of girls going to like henna parties.
or
Like, yeah,
jilwa,
like,
no?
yeah,
Is it
exactly.
jilwa? Is it called jilwa?
But not even just Jalwa, like anything. There's like girls that just hang out, like braiding each other's hair, and then they do henna. Like that's, I guess. I'm assuming this is what you guys do. I have no idea if that's the case, but we're just gonna pretend that that's the case.
I've never snuck into one of those, so I wouldn't
No,
know.
nobody would know. We have no idea. There's unicorns and fluffy bunnies. We have no idea what's going on.
Could you picture it sneaking into that shit?
No, I'm a married man. I can never picture that ever
All right,
again.
you're married, son. Okay. I bet you there's gonna be like some porn producer is listening to this right now.
Right?
He's gonna have like an
Then,
idea.
let's be honest. It's the porn about like the Arab community is very very generic.
It's you know
And hijab and that's it. It's nothing else.
it sort of rose for a while, but it's declining.
Are you
now.
talking about local porn that's actually people on their smartphones are doing stuff, or are you talking about Western produced hijabi porn?
Western produced stuff? I mean,
Okay.
after Mia Khalifa, the whole thing,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Mia Khalifa sort of took it to its peak,
she did. Yeah,
and then it just died down. Right,
Yeah.
right now, porno is.
but is that? Can I ask something? And then this is where I don't know. I have no idea if this is the case with it. Mia Khalifa, she is popular because she's cute in Middle Eastern, because she's hot in that, wala because this is the first time somebody's heard of anybody with a Middle Eastern background.
The latter. Well, yeah. But
That's
it's
the first time?
Yeah,
But I've seen and heard of the genre before, hijabi stuff, like ever since 2003.
because like even like it's usually they oh god, this is you know, I read a lot. Okay, I'm just saying I read a lot. Okay,
Tell us.
full disclosure.
Tell us where you read this stuff.
It's usually like Latinas, right? Girls that look Arab but aren't actually
Yeah,
actually Arab.
that's fake, man. I don't
Right?
like that. That's
But,
like
but then you had Mia Khalifa. But the thing about Mia Khalifa is a lot of people, yani, at least from the guys that I've asked,
Yeah.
Zain, they don't find her attractive. It's just
in the Gulf. Well, you mean in Westerners that enjoy that stuff?
no. Yani, my friends,
Okay.
yeah, Bahrainis.
Okay,
you
any
know?
bros then?
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
All right.
Some of them, yani, I'm getting very mixed answers. Like, oh, Mia Khalifa's okay looking, you know, she's not that hot. This leads me to believe that, yani, okay, there are more people with that kind of opinion about her, but it's the allure of having a Lebanese girl doing
Right.
porn.
Right, but she doesn't even look like the typical Lebanese girl, right?
No,
she doesn't. That's what's weird
no,
about it.
she's not. There's a certain degree of plastic surgery that you have to do to look Lebanese.
Is it like a bar mitzvah level thing? And at 16 you get the lips done.
The lip filler, right?
And
That's
then,
the first thing you do.
then 25, maybe you move on to the chest area, and then you trim. There's like stages.
And then when you reach 30, you sort of do this.
It's
right?
like the Predator. They have to do the initiation into adulthood ceremony. You hunt your first human. If you're Lebanese, I guess you make your first tabula.
Oh god,
And then you get some lipo on the side.
man! You know, I've been noticing more and more. Again, women, right, with lip fillers.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes, it's becoming common, man.
It's booming, bro, and
It
it's
is.
weird.
It is.
It's weird because, yani, we're supposed to have good dermatologists here, right?
Yeah.
I don't know why, but half of the women they just look weird. Like it's the whole face is moving, right? There's expressions, eyebrows going up.
It stays at the,
But this stays, right? This part stays,
yeah.
and it looks infected. You know when like some you have like a blister,
Right.
That's what it looks. It's like
Yeah.
a blister on your lips. I just want to take a fucking needle and poke
You
it.
just want, yeah. I know it feels swollen, or it feels like they're stuck. They're frozen in a state of being that is difficult to understand. I feel at times, and it's also like I by the way, I'm not gonna. I know a lot of women that are related to me, people in my life that have done plastic surgery, people that it's actually improved a lot of the features that I don't personally like it because I feel like it takes away from some natural element to it.
Look, I don't care what you do with your body, okay? But I can make fun of that shit. Okay?
Yeah, you definitely can. Like it's no different than guys when they buy huge trucks or something.
Exactly.
You can make fun of that in the same way. I personally just think that when you do plastic surgery, right now you're a pioneer. And you're on the forefront of plastic surgery, first getting figured out. People are trying to understand how to do it best and make it look more natural.
Yeah.
And it's like, the uncanny valley with robotics.
Yeah.
Like
yeah,
now
yeah.
they look weird, but in 20 years time we're not going to figure out the difference. We have no idea.
Exactly.
So they're the astronauts of plastic surgery at the
You
moment.
got like, and going into guy territory, a lot of guys nowadays actually do this zara'a thing where they grow their hair.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
But
And
that's been done for a while.
Bro, and it hasn't been perfected yet.
No, it never will be, I feel like. It always looks weird.
Like if plastic surgery just entered the 21st century, that shit is still in the 50s.
Yeah.
Seriously, it never comes out right. But see, here's my argument. Zain, go bald. It looks good. It's
I
manly.
agree with that too, man.
Think of all like the Bruce Willis, The Rock.
There's a lot of there's a lot of conditions that people go through that are, whether they're men or women, that both, it scares you. You're like, I'm gonna do this. Like, what scares me is like I have a bit of a gullet. I feel like you guys that can see the profile can see it a bit here. Like it's a little bit of a seagull gullet, and I know for a fact that my grandfather, this will keep expanding. It will just keep lowering, and I'm gonna be that guy, with a ball sack in Men in Black.
Is it?
That's who I'm slowly turning into, I'm just going to get a little bit of a tan. I'm going to make sure it gets a little wrinkly.
By the way, I don't want to scare. Isn't that like one of the signs of gout?
Is it? Am I getting gout?
No.
I thought gout it starts in your toes.
See, because I think so, okay? I think. Because apparently like having like that shit over here.
Yeah, here.
Right? Is a sign of gout. Like, I'm just saying, like if it's like well defined, like yours is okay. Maybe it's just genetic for you.
Okay, yeah.
And Zanbas, I think I've read, because I was reading about Kim Jong-un, and apparently he suffers from gout.
I heard that as well. It's some medieval shit.
I'm like, motherfucker, it's a double chin. It's not.
But that's like, your country, your culture is a bit behind the times when you're suffering a condition that kings used to suffer from in the medieval times.
Well, it was a sign of nobility, right?
Yeah.
Like having gout. I have this disease that you don't have, motherfucker.
Yeah, you can't. Like, I'm so wealthy.
Malnutrition, gout. Okay?
Yeah. I'm so fat. I'm so happy. I've got so much food. It's killing me slowly, and you can't do anything about it. It's costing you money. That's the idea. Just quickly, I'm gonna remind the guys in chat. By the way, if I'm not responding to you guys at the moment, it's because we've decided that the flow is gonna be a bit off. I keep seeing a delay every time I respond to the chat. So make sure, guys, if you have any questions you want to ask or topics you want us to cover, just send it. I might not address it, but I'll find a way to bring it up if I can during the show. And then at the end of the show, we'll take some questions from you guys. That's going to be like the last half hour or so.
Right on.
If I keep things coming, just post things on there. And even if you don't see it tonight on the live stream, you can come back and see your answers or what we say about your questions at the end of the show tomorrow and any day after that.
So I see the cranium moved.
You noticed? Kenneth keeps moving around. It's because I've been obsessed with aliens. I've watched the whole marathon.
I told you I was gonna watch it, right? I still have
You've never seen it, huh?
I've never seen it.
You've never seen Aliens, nothing.
No. I have the box set. Aliens, and Alien 3.
Okay, and you never liked it.
I've never saw it. I've never watched it.
Why didn't you watch it? You bought the box set.
Bro, look, there's a lot of movies that I've watched when I was like just getting into film, right?
Right.
And like my reference game wasn't that strong. My knowledge of movies wasn't that strong. But I'm rewatching a lot of older films that I've watched in like 2013, 2012.
Yeah.
And then just to sort of get what was going on, just to absorb more from them.
Right.
Then a couple I would just watch them like, okay, I watched this film. Oh, look at me. I have credit. I have I have merit, right?
Yeah.
But I'm rewatching them, sort of absorbing more from them. Hatta مثلا Twin Peaks, I'm probably gonna rewatch season 1.
Right. Okay. See, I never finished Twin Peaks, and I've been told off about that multiple times. So when they continued doing it, when did that come out?
It's done. It's season 3 is out. I have.
Yeah, that's been like since 2017.
17, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So when that came out, I was like not as excited as everybody else, and I never really got into the first one or the first seasons. And but Alien is a different story, man. Alien is like. Yeah,
it's groundbreaking. I get it.
But it's not just that. To me, it's what the most important thing about Alien is it represents how you can easily see a movie go from something that is so critically acclaimed, launches the career of one actress. By the way, I'm feeling hot. If I'm feeling hot, you're probably dying. So
I'm okay. We're fine.
You can turn the AC on if you want. It's fine.
We're okay.
What I was saying is that if it
So
started
far.
off the career of Sigourney Weaver, all these people that kind of like launched the series itself, Ridley Scott, Bannon, the people that wrote it, and the Xenomorph, and it makes it this cultural kind of impact, and then you see it kind of go to shit. You naturally see the progression of one movie go from that Hollywood, like you have this gem, this diamond, this gold mine to kind of feed off of for years to come, this franchise, and how they fucked it at the end of everything. By the way, your camera just dropped. Let me figure out what's going on with that one.
My camera dropped.
The camera dropped. Yeah.
Should I keep talking?
I'm getting a call from somebody.
Oh, yeah.
Did I? Why is
You're getting a call.
a WhatsApp call as well?
Oh,
Who does
you
that?
cheap bastard.
No, because I
Whoever-
turned off. It's on flight mode. The only
Whoever-
thing that's on is the wireless, no?
Whoever you are.
Yeah, whoever you are, you're a cheap bastard.
Was your dad calling?
No. I'm not gonna say who it is. I'm not gonna out them. But like, I should realize that putting your phone on airplane mode as it's a freaking camera for your podcast is not enough. Apparently, to stop WhatsApp.
Man,
No.
WhatsApp gets through, bro.
It's through no matter what.
Habibi, you know something? The amount of misinformation on WhatsApp, like the bullshit articles, have been decreasing about the whole COVID thing.
Because
For
they've
me.
they've put restrictions, bro.
Have they?
You didn't notice that you can't send any document or comment or you can't send it to more than a couple of people. There's a limit to the amount of people you can send it to now.
I mean, that's sad because that means I'm not talking to enough people.
That doesn't mean that. It means that you don't know enough people.
It's like,
And they've done that ever since, like, you remember Facebook got criticized for 2016?
yeah, the whole election thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they got severely criticized for that. So they've had a very aggressive policy this year on COVID and probably for the elections. This is them testing things out for the upcoming elections.
They should keep it like permanently. Honestly, like I'm fucking sick of the spam.
scares me,
WhatsApp.
man.
Gabble, you'd make fun of chainmail. I mean, people are fucking welcoming it. What is going on?
No,
with
I
the
know.
world?
And the very obvious ones, okay, you can take those down. Okay, you can take down, stupid comments, misinformation, inject bleach into your bumhole or some shit, all that. You can take that down. But there are people that are genuinely like, they're on YouTube or whatever, and they say stuff like, this is a good time to keep your immune system up. This is a good time to, get some vitamins in your body, you get some vitamin C, work out, do this. And they're just telling you to have a holistic approach to life. And those people are at a serious risk of being banned.
It's the
Because-
fucking gurus, bro.
What do you mean?
Fucking gurus, man.
crystal people?
The crystal people.
The crystal star
Exactly.
child. The ones that talk about astrology all
and
the time.
numerology. You heard that shit?
I know.
Numerology, bro.
I heard that shit.
It's on the rise in Bahrain.
Apparently.
Apparently.
I never understood it, but now I do. I know that.
This is one, you know who we're talking about, right?
I love the crystals, bro. I think I'm more. I don't get the numerology people. I kind of relate to the crystal people because I feel like it's closer to lightsabers and the dark crystal and things that I can kind of believe.
You know what's the funniest thing? Like, what you know the video we're talking about, right? In the comments section.
Don't out this person.
Right, I'm not.
Don't do
not.
this.
Okay.
Right.
In the comments section.
Yeah.
Okay. There was this one person that's like, "Hey, I'm seeing the number 444 a lot nowadays. What does it mean?"
For those of you that don't live in Bahrain, right, and don't know this about Bahrain, or if you're in Bahrain, you don't know jack shit because you don't have a life. Bahrain, for the COVID response unit and everything to do with getting information or declaring your case or finding out what's happening if you're infected or not, you have to call 444. That's the number that's been spammed every single place, and I've had to see it a million times when I was in radio. So it's just a brilliant response from this person, whoever they are.
It's not
Smart.
0118999. No, you don't know the whole number, do you?
No, I don't.
Ah, fuck.
I don't know what. That's the one from the UK, right?
The IT crowd.
Yeah. Oh, is it? Oh, I was thinking of the other one. You remember the two that would jog? They were in that commercial. Can't remember what the number was. I know the one you were talking about now from the IT crowd.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of the ones that would. Never mind. This is probably going to go into like an incessant tangent, and I'm never going to figure it out.
What have you been watching?
Like I said, Alien Marathon.
Alien-
I've watched it like all the way through, chronologically. So I watch it just for the story's sake. Prometheus, then Alien Covenant, which nobody knew came out, but when they did figure out it came out, they were like, okay, this is shit. What are they doing? And then you have after that, I watched Alien vs Predator, the first one,
God.
AVP 1, yeah, which is by the way not that bad. It's actually aged pretty well. as a movie, as graphics, as everything else, pretty well.
You know, you mentioned talking about aged pretty well. You were talking to me about The Matrix the other day, right?
Yes,
And how you were like, oh, it aged pretty well.
yes.
And I agreed with you at the time.
I don't know.
But
You can't keep your story straight when it comes to your hate.
But
anyway.
see, I've watched it. I've watched it again, right? I've
Okay.
watched it again. It's a piece of shit.
You think The Matrix is a piece of shit?
Yes.
Why?
Story wise,
It's- okay.
I'm sorry.
Let that settle for people.
Gonna give them some time.
Ahmed.
Okay.
Ahmed believes The Matrix is
The movie.
quotes like
Cara.
under accolades, critics review. Cara.
There's one fucking reason why it's so shit.
Tell us.
Trinity.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. Why?
She is dull.
Yeah, she
Bro,
is.
she projects
She has
no
no
emotion,
character.
no
Nothing.
emotion.
Nothing.
She's like a plastic bottle. A plastic bottle would do a better job.
But people loved her
Leish.
because she was.
Oh, she was Neo's.
No, not because that. Because she's in the opening scene, yeah. She's the one that showcases everything as far as the action.
That just sets the whole mood for the movie. Oh, she's the first person there, the most bland motherfucker.
Is the first
in the
person that shows you what the combat is like, what the action is like, what the oh my god, they can jump from buildings. What is this? So she's the delivery mechanism. If she's not part of that initial scene, I don't think she's.
I don't disagree that like in terms of special effects and CGI and everything, the movie is fucking great. It was groundbreaking.
Yeah.
Zain? But people focus too much on that. That's the merit that people focus on. وبعدين they ignore everything else.
Right.
You know? Morpheus, again, the whole fucking يعني the characters as a whole in that movie. Meh. Bro, meh.
Yeah, I know what you're saying but don't you think you're saying that because you're kind of in tune with, you know, pop culture and sci-fi and the history of sci-fi, you're into video games, you're into other stuff. So you've kind of seen it before. Like a lot of people say that about the Matrix that are people that are hardcore like science fiction
Hey, but the
fans.
problem is the Matrix is actually a landmark in sci-fi history.
In sci-fi mainstream history. Like the idea behind the Matrix of somebody waking up in the Matrix in another world that's, you know, this world is not the real world. That stuff has been around in sci-fi novels for years, you know? So the idea is okay, now it's finally made its way into the mainstream and it's finally presented in a nice way that you can grasp, that you can understand. It's not overcomplicated. That's paced really well. The movie's pacing's really well. The graphics, everything else that goes with it, done really well. Some people say Lawrence Fishburne is hammy. He hams it up. But I don't agree with that. I feel like he does a really good job considering. Maybe not in the later movies. But generally speaking, Annie, it's the total package.
But see, the problem is with the first Matrix is, the sequels. They didn't need any sequels. خلاص.
You don't feel like you needed more?
No.
Why?
I don't feel like it needed more than that. خلاص, it sort of rounded out the whole story. They just saw a money making opportunity.
Yeah.
Okay, and they were like, okay, let's commission, sequel number 2, which is shit, and sequel number 3, which is absolutely horrible.
Yeah, I didn't like the sequels.
Like, what was
Never
that?
did. I felt like the fight scenes were really weird in the second one as well.
They really doubled down on the fight scenes.
They did.
And the twins, apparently, they were meant to be like, characters or a formidable enemy.
But you see, this is what I mean by like you go back to, if you go back to like these classic, sci-fi stuff, like we were talking about Aliens. Aliens starts off as this horror movie, 12 little Indians, whatever it is. You're stuck in this place, claustrophobic, scary. You reveal very little about the monster, and then you find out what it is. And a lot of people today complain that the pace of the movie is so slow. And then you're like, I was watching it, it was like about 40 minutes in. 20 minutes till you actually get to anything of value about the aliens. And then 40 minutes in that the pacing and the action starts to pick up.
I would blame that on people not having an education or a really solid background on movies. And then I would watch like the older Hitchcock movies, مثلا Vertigo, North by Northwest, and all that. And then Vertigo is a great example of a movie that's considered amazing, but I don't think you can pitch it to someone my age who's like an average moviegoer. ليش؟ لأن Vertigo, you have it, the twists and turns, they come in a very, you have to wait such a long time. And then there's a small twist, and you have to wait such a long time. And then there's another twist until like the big finale, the big reveal, right? So I got used to that kind of slow pacing. It's after the slow build up until the big reveal.
The slow burn,
And then- But the problem is, nowadays, when you're addressing the average moviegoer who goes to the cinema every Thursday in Bahrain and they see a movie like Fast and Furious, for example, and then they'd go in, first fucking scene, cars, explosions, guns, punchlines, da 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 da.
Yeah.
For every, they've been subconsciously conditioned to think that, oh, a good movie should be like this. It should be entertaining from the start and consistent all the way through.
But you don't think that that's not necessarily like conditioning, and it's more okay. Maybe for some people it is conditioning because you're trying to compete with their phones. You're trying to compete with everything else that's going on in their life. But even back in the day, if you look at Alien compared to Aliens, right? And I want you to watch them because you haven't seen the distinction between the two. Aliens is the one that James Cameron takes on, and it's the second movie, and it becomes the more action-oriented movie. But in my opinion, that's done really well. That doesn't sacrifice the scary elements. It doesn't sacrifice the story. It doesn't sacrifice the characters, and it still makes some sense cohesively in the plot. Okay, but you look at the later movies. Okay, and I'm not even going to comment on Aliens, the third one, because that one is based on which version you're watching, the assembly cut or the theatrical cut. Very different takes.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
And the guy that made the movie, Finch, it was a really interesting story behind him. I'm not going to get into that, but basically this is the guy that made Seven and Fight Club. Okay?
Oh, okay.
That's that guy. And this is the first movie that he gets. Was like, I'm going to take over after James Cameron. I'm going to do the third Alien movie. And it's absolute garbage because he took on this, pile of trash that was already being, diluted by so many producers and people that they fired beforehand and all this stuff. And once you get that many cooks in making this the soup, everybody's trying to get their own input in. You in a franchise that's going to make millions no matter what. People are going to go see Alien. You end up with some piece of garbage that's supposed to address and kind of cater to the lowest possible denominator. It's like, okay, give us the Alien, give us this, give us this. So there's become no tolerance for even attempting something that would be like slow. It's not. I don't think it's necessarily like the conditioning. I think it's the money.
See, there is a trend, right? If you notice, and we've been talking about sequels, right? Especially.
Yeah.
The usual like route to follow with sequels is that they double down on something that people on one thing or two things that people liked in the first movie, and then that they sort of and they saturate you with that shit with the second movie. And what became something that was like, I like that. Became something like, okay, halas, we get it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's the biggest example of this is Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I remember that the first one, man, you had to wait like half an hour, like 45 minutes to see someone get killed.
Yeah.
And the second movie...
That's crazy. You have massacre in the name of the movie. And it's like, where the fuck is the massacre?
And then you watch part two is the first scene. Two guys get their heads chopped off.
Yeah.
Khalas.
But is that the fault of the production? Is it the people, the producers themselves? God, get me some more blood. I need more chainsaws. I want 5 more chainsaws.
Again, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre is an exception because I've stated this before multiple times.
Yeah.
Tobe Hooper originally wanted the Texas Chainsaw Massacre to be a dark comedy film. Okay.
Yeah.
But
so kind of like Evil Dead.
Yeah, but when he released it, and then people were like, "Bro, are you fucking twisted?" And then we're gonna give it an R rating.
Yeah.
And the second movie took a more comical approach to the whole thing.
Yeah.
But it still got a fucking R rating because it is, honestly, Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, best shitty sequel ever.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say it hands down.
Man, this is all of this. Like, you look at all this stuff that people used to kind of like interject with producers, and they'd be like, give us more action. You look at Prometheus compared to Alien Covenant, right? Prometheus is very philosophical. You never get to see the alien until like the last seconds of the outro, basically the epilogue of the whole thing. And you end up going, well, wait, what is this about? There's no alien in this one. It's like, well, it's the philosophical story behind it. I was like, oh, well, Ridley's really pretentious. What the fuck did he think? Where's this? This doesn't make sense here. It doesn't make sense here. And some people actually really love it. So it's kind of like Star Wars prequels in that way. People hate it or love it. And then the second movie, first freaking 5 minutes, somebody's ripped by an alien, or there's people like jarringly getting out of the chest burster coming out of the back or the throat, whatever. You can see, and they double down went a full 180, and Ridley was like, "All right, you want fucking aliens? I'm giving you aliens, okay?"
The best episode in the X Files, in my opinion, was not an episode associated with the aliens at all. It was an episode that really got to me because, like I told you before, what scares me is body horror, that Cronenberg
Yeah,
shit,
yeah,
right? And it was an episode about like Shisma, a family of brothers who like there's a whole incest thing involved, and they're trying to keep it within the family. Yeah, right. But so basically, as vulgar as they're banging their mom, all of them, right? And their mom is severely deformed. She has limbs cut off and whatever.
What is this?
Right? The X Files.
This is an episode of the X Files.
Yeah.
Wait, I don't remember this. Is it? This sounds like another movie.
No.
Are they Hicks in Arkansas or something like that?
They're Hicks.
Like
right?
hillbillies.
No, not like your classic hillbillies, right?
Okay, all right.
Zin. But basically, you didn't see the mother. She was always like in the shadows or something like that. But at the end, like just before the episode ends, you see her, and then like the camera just cuts.
Right.
For that sort of big reveal, that's what I like. And you fucking boom, it hits. It's like, holy shit.
But you can afford to do that with the X Files. They've always had that weird like, don't reveal the monster, don't tell them, don't like. You remember that one scene where I can't remember where it was. It was. I think was it Mulder? I can't remember who it was, or Scully, but I think it was Scully, and the little aliens are running around her.
Yeah.
And you're not sure if they're aliens or not. And the little tiny ones are like, and you're like, what the fuck is going on? And she's turning around, or he's turning around. I can't remember which one of them was doing it.
They really keep you in the dark.
They do.
Yeah, and it had to like.
But that's some people would say that was a bit of a cock tease. Like
it's a huge fucking cock tease.
Yeah.
There's this one episode of the alien human hybrid shit, right?
Yeah.
And like Scully was looking at her through the window, right? But I think the window was purposely frosted, so what you could see as the viewer, is it an alien? Is it a human? It looks like both.
See, you're bringing up an interesting point here, because I've noticed a trend right now. Whenever they start to reboot something or continue it, whatever you want to call it, okay? Whether it's a show, a movie, whatever it is, and they try to update it by modern standards, it doesn't seem to work, because the majority of people will say, yeah, but you're losing the essence of what made that show popular in the first place. So it begs the question. Can you even take a show that was designed, or even a movie that was designed at the time where people would be able to psychologically handle a slow burn, or no real reveal, or no real monster for you to look at? Can you take that and then still adapt the shows?
See, I'll give you the answer in the form of synthesizers. Okay?
No, hold on. Let's stay on the X-Files example. I don't want to keep jumping to too many references that people
because I'll give you the example of synthesizers to answer this question.
Right.
And then, so you know those old 70s synths, right?
Okay.
And then, there's no modern synth that can recreate that sound.
Yeah.
Because it's analog or cliche.
Okay.
Then, they've tried and tried and tried, but they can never get that sound. And they're like, okay, why don't you build a new one? Because the components that they used to build those synths in the 70s, they don't exist anymore, right?
Yeah, but you could make them.
No, you can't.
I mean, like, if you put the money behind it, you can't make it.
If you put massive amounts of money behind it.
All right, so it's doable.
It'll basically be a showpiece rather than a retail piece. Right? But that's the same with Shisma, TV shows.
What I'm saying, though, is I don't think you could. Like, even if you put the right elements together, even if you said, I'm going to get the same director, and we've seen this happen. Like, for a lot of stuff, like Prometheus, like everything else, you have the same director, the same writers involved, the same concept artists, the same everything. And then it's still, because they want to update it to something that is understandable and be able to, like, if you can put it out there and put out the same product you had back in the 70s, the same idea, but it will probably not resonate as much as that one did, because that one had a unique time, that was revealed in. Like, remember, I keep bringing up in the show the fact that Sigourney Weaver, the fact that she's the heroine, that you can't do today with the same kind of reveal. Because back then there was never a female action star in a horror movie. Never. Everybody thought it was the guy playing Dallas, that he was going to be
you're saying basically they're running out of ideas?
What I'm saying is, if you don't, the originality is done. It's played out. It's a card you played, and now if you try to actually put something out there that's unique, you've lost out on that initial, like, virgin mentality. So you look at مثلا World of Warcraft. Everybody says, oh, when's the next World of Warcraft? You're never going to be able to relive that next, or that initial feeling, because you're not a virgin to that experience anymore. It's no longer unknown to you.
So what you're saying is basically, Yani, this only applies to movies. Or are you putting TV shows in the mix?
I'm putting TV shows in the mix, and the reason I did that is because I want to bring up the X-Files as an example. Did you ever see the updated, continued story show?
I've never finished the X-Files. I've yet
Never?
to finish. I'm at season 9 now.
All right, so if you watch the
But
newer
I have
ones,
the newer ones, yeah.
the newer ones that came out, the essence of it, like it's the same characters, same guys in charge, but the essence of the show is not the X-Files.
It's too new, I feel, because I've seen some clips of
Well,
it.
there's none of because you already know what goes on. Like, khalas, the mystery has been revealed, right? The monster has been revealed. The truth has been revealed. So in the first episode or so, it's like they're just going through the list of confirming, yeah, this is real, this is real, this is real, this is real. And it turns into like an action movie because they can't keep the mystery going anymore. It's not mysterious anymore. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's like saying, well, can you put the monster back in the bag? Once you've revealed the monster, can you actually tell people, all right, dismiss that, forget it, let's bring the magic and the wonder back into it without telling you anything? No, most people will go, well, no, we can't do that, so let's try to modernize it.
There are so many elements, I think, Yani, that are other elements other than the story,
Yeah.
right? Or the plot of the whole series or movie that come into play. Right, it's also the camera work. It's also the graininess. It's also yani, the locations. Right.
Yeah.
A lot of locations have changed, مثلا, over the years. I like to give the example of like, you know how like older movies, right?
Yeah.
Like I hate. I have a bittersweet relationship with Blu-ray restorations of older movies.
Oh yeah, because the
Right?
Blu-ray really
It really
out
makes
the value.
it makes it really clear.
Yeah, too clear.
That, you don't see that stuttering, you know,
No.
the occasional black marker on the screen. and
Because
shit.
it's not just that; it's even some of those shots were like not meant for you to see it. Like a perfect example, again, Alien. Right in the first Alien movie, there's a scene. Dallas is in the ventilation. Spoiler alert, by the way. Okay, he's in the ventilation.
Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. I'm not. No, I'm stopping you right there.
Okay, I thought we talked about this before at one point, but
Okay.
the point is like, let's assume there's back in the day. You remember how they'd really use light and shadows really well to tell a story, right? So there's a lot of directors that had an emphasis on that. You can even tell like, oh, I walked into the shadows. You can see my eye in the shadows and stuff. So they do the same technique in horror movies to kind of like hide something in the background that if you weren't paying attention would be completely invisible, right? Now, if you go in Blu-ray, it's so clear and the contrast is up there that you can see detail in the back even when it's dark. And you can see the monster kind of going like...
I remember that conversation.
Like a guy in a fucking suit just hiding in the back. It's like, all right, I'm waiting for you, Ridley. Do I come out now?
It's the same thing with like vinyls, right?
Right, yeah.
You know, I've started collecting vinyls. Yeah, I've become one of those motherfuckers. Okay, judge me all you want.
I don't
okay.
care anymore, bro. Nobody cares.
Because you see, saying you don't care anymore means at one point you cared.
Yeah, but that was like 7 years ago when this whole trend started. You're a bit late to the game.
No, bro, it's a thing, right?
I know it's a thing. It's a huge thing, but it's still like do you feel like people still judge you for it? Do you feel like people are like, this is a douchebag?
Not really.
Maybe you judge yourself too much.
I think so. I think they judge the music more than the actual format of the music. Right? They're like, Ahmed, you're a fucking weirdo.
Yeah, asshole. You're gonna get an LP, huh?
That's like there are some things on like vinyls that aren't there on like the CD.
Do you order them online or do you like going to a store?
No. Most of my vinyls that I bought were from Amsterdam. Okay. So I would go to the store, flip through the records, right?
Does Virgin here still have some? Did they say? What's wrong with that question? I'm asking you. Do you ever decide to go there and be like, hey, yeah.
They have like modern vinyls, right? So like a lot of people, when it comes to vinyls, they look for that rare first press, right?
Okay.
Like that rare find at the record. So and you know there is excitement in that. You know, definitely. I remember I found a Deep Purple Machine Head first press, right, for like €35. But the fact that I just found it, it's right there. It's from 1975. I just had to get it.
Yeah.
I remember it had a big fucking scratch on it.
No.
But it was a surface scratch. It didn't go into the grooves. Even the owner was like, check it out. It's okay. I'll give you a €10 discount.
Okay. I
was like, fine, fuck it. Even if I can't hear, I'll just get it, right? But so I listened to it. Bro, the audio is different. It sounds different. Like, I'm sorry.
What does it sound like? Like describe this, like if it was something you were eating. I'm bringing it close to home for you.
Let's just. All right, so let's say streaming audio is like eating malghooms. It's comforting,
Right, yeah.
right? It's reliable. It's there. Tav? Listening to a vinyl is like eating dakkal orange or something like that.
Dakhal orange.
I don't know,
Oh, shit.
some French shit, right? You know what I mean? It's شو اسمه? It's you, يعني you're forced to sort of sit down and listen. تعرف? As opposed to okay, I'll just play.
But you feel like that's what's missing from today? I mean, there's just people sitting down and having like listening sessions.
لأن a lot, in my opinion, a lot of people, يعني they listen to music in passing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They don't
Yeah.
really go into the details of the songs.
Oh, I didn't want to, but I was forced to for a very long time.
Granted, everything sounds the same nowadays, but it's bad. There's little nuances here and there.
Yeah.
Listening to music used to be an experience. That used to be something exciting. Like, you hear a lot of stories from like these older rock stars. Like, oh, I'd have like $10 a week. I'd go to the record store and buy one record.
Yeah.
And I'd listen to it. There's this whole like tradition surrounding it. There's this whole thing.
That's it.
Right?
It's the culture behind it. Yani, the
Billah.
routine, the people that you know. It's the same thing, man. Well, like that's I think the reason why tabletop and basically board games and all that stuff exploded was because there was very few things left that still had a culture around it that involved you going to a store, talking to a person, being in a game with a community of people, and you're like, okay, that's the cool guy. You talk to him about painting your miniatures. That's a store owner, Fahad. Shout out to him. He's an awesome guy. He'll take care of you guys and make sure your orders come through. He'll help you out if you're new to the game. Oh, there's that asshole over there. He's a dick. He's gonna touch your dice all the time, but don't worry, he's a good guy at heart. Just don't get close to him. That guy over there, don't go near him. He's into the Thai girls. You still have that little bit of a community, a real human attachment to the hobby, and that's why you see tabletop has kind of exploded, because there's a lot of people that want to get on it, get into it on a surface level. And then there's the people that go into it, and it's like their yoga center. It's like their gym. It's like anything else that still has a little bit of culture and relevance to it,
There's that sort of, like, for me, it's the love of having tangible media.
Yeah.
Remember when I asked for a CD rack? And they were like, you'll find one in the landfill?
I did. Where are you going to find a CD rack?
I don't know. I've looked all over. I had to
And you know
order
who
it.
has them? I'm sure some Americans do. In the base, in some places, they do.
I actually ordered it through Amazon.
Did you?
And I couldn't find it in Bahrain.
Do you know I had to use a CD player, like recently,
What?
on air and radio, when I was still on radio?
No.
There were 2 times where...
What kind of janky shit are you running there,
Dude,
bro?
you don't understand. Like when like the way there's backup systems to backup systems, okay? And the one day that basically the connection to the IT department where the servers are at, okay, and the mainframe and everything else stores the music, that got severed and there was issues with the connection. So every time I play a song on the main system, it would start to stutter and stop. And then the same thing would happen on the backup system, because the backup BPM system would also be part of that network, that library. So that starts failing as well. So the first one, the main one, the second one, the backup goes to shit. And I remember the first time it happened, there's a guy, bro, in the studio with us, operator, shout out to Ali. He was actually telling me how to fix it, and he didn't know how to fix it. So he's like, listen, we're going to go to the backup of the backup. I was like, what's the backup of the backup? And he takes out fucking CDs, man. And it's, I swear to God, a 6-disc changer in the back. Like, I didn't even know what that thing was. Like, you just go to it, you're like, what is this thing? It says the Yamaha 6-disc changer,
Like
you know?
Indiana Jones shit
Holy
right
shit,
there,
man.
right?
Like, proper It's aftermath. You'd see, like, I don't know what they had. There was, like, Now 58 and all this other stuff. Do you remember the old school, compilation
Call
CDs?
that music or some
Yeah,
shit
that
like that.
shit, man. That shit. And they just play it, and that's the backup, Andy.
But you know something? There are some CD players that are mad expensive.
Yeah, to this day, yeah.
Mad
Yeah.
expensive. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I saw this one by Yamaha, like $1,500
No way.
for a CD player.
Is that because of the rarity, or just the level of equipment in fact
The level of
manufacturing?
equipment. The level
Okay.
of honestly, I'm slowly becoming a huge Yamaha fanboy.
Why is that?
And then their audio equipment is the shit.
Right, yeah.
Is the shit. Yani they're somehow like really looked over for the more sort of well-known brands like Bowers and Wilkins, for example.
Right.
B&W, Klipsch, Bose is crap. I mean, we've discussed this before.
I have? I don't know.
Yeah, we have.
Not a huge audiophile.
The older ones are good.
Okay,
The newer ones are shit.
right. Fair enough. Yeah,
Right?
that I would agree with. Yeah.
But Yamaha overlooked, man, and their equipment, like that Japanese sort of like
precision,
Shinfu kind of like
samurai
shit. I will put the capacitor here and I will sign my name on it, kind of shit. That level of precision that they still have.
Yeah,
like they have this amplifier, bro. I was looking at their website. There's this amplifier, $10,000.
Right. Yeah.
For an amplifier.
Yeah.
Basically, what it does is it takes the audio signal, all right, amplifies it, outputs it to the speaker. That's all it does.
It's crazy, right?
$10,000.
God damn. Man, I don't know what it is about the Japanese, because I was talking about this to my brother-in-law, and we were discussing, because he's a big conspiracy theory guy. Okay, he loves it. Shout out to you, Adi.
We're getting into
Adi,
that,
right? No, we're not getting into that. But I was talking about something that I brought up as an example, because he wanted to know why is it that Jewish communities and the Jewish culture, why is it that so many people are getting into positions of power and everything else and influence and culture, and they win Nobel laureates and stuff like that. And I was saying, well, because usually the Jews historically have been they're really accomplished. And they're well accomplished because they tend to be meticulous. Okay, as a culture, the whole the shtick about going to the doctor, being OCD about certain stuff, and they're OCD about certain things. They care about certain things in a meticulous way, and they can be a fickle people. But generally speaking, when you are from a culture where you have routines and habits that are cultivated, and you look at Islamic jurisprudence, we have a lot of things that we have to think about when you're a good Muslim, and highlight the good Muslim part, right? And you think about, for example, a practicing Muslim who's a good Muslim who's going to do the 5 times a day prayer, يعرف الوضوء, ablutions and all, everything properly. He knows everything to do with the rules and the system of worship. You take Judaism and the stuff that goes with it, like all the rules, all the things, don't touch fire on this day, you don't work on that day, you don't do, and it's 50 times more complex than ours, okay? And it's because that's the reason why Islam was so successful as a religion, in my opinion, was because it streamlined worshiping. It connected you directly to God, and you didn't have to deal with a lot of other stuff. Yeah, no side stuff, not a million things. Keep it simple.
Direct connection,
Keep it simple, stupid. Get to heaven. Khalas, all right?
No Wi-Fi on that bitch, bro.
Exactly,
Ethernet, bro.
exactly. Islam was like D&D 5th edition, all right? You make it comfortable for everybody to come in, comfortable everybody to have fun, worship, love, etc.
Right.
But in the older religions, the older Abrahamic religions, a lot of things were focused on orderliness and doing this many times, and only this on this day, and only this on this day, and never touch fire, etc. No mixing of fabrics. So when you're like that, and you're constantly like that, you kind of also become like a lot of D&D players do. Specifically the ones that are anal about the rules, and you've met them, rules lawyers.
Yeah.
Right? They know every little rule because they want to find loopholes.
Yeah.
Because they're desperate to find loopholes. And that's what Jewish people are really good at. They're good at bending the rules and bending the laws of reality.
That's why there's a lot of Jewish lawyers.
A lot of Jewish lawyers. A lot of good scientists that are Jewish, because you have to be that way to be able to do good science, right? And when that clicked for him, I was like, all right, you don't believe it yet? All right, what other culture is also really obsessed with tradition and being meticulous and doing things the right way?
Japanese.
And are good at science. Boom.
The Japanese.
The Japanese, man. They're so, when I did kendo, they were like that. Every little thing. The way you sit down.
Yeah.
The way you sit, the way you touch the sword, how you put it, the way you kneel it, the way it's moved. Everything is about that precise care.
You saw that fucking documentary I told you about, Jiro? The guy, the greatest sushi chef that ever lived.
Okay.
Right?
I've heard this before.
They made an hour and a half documentary about a guy that makes fucking sushi.
Jesus.
Rice, fish.
On the surface, it seems simple, right? The 2 most simple things in the world. But when you're that culture, you're gonna find those levels of intricate depth and detail, right?
And the thing is, he takes apprentices, right, for free. He teaches them for free.
But put the air conditioning on. I'm dying, man. Come
right.
on. I know you are too. Come on. Good morning, guys. Just woke up. What did I miss? Adil, you can tell we missed a ton of stuff. Matrook's audio seems a bit quiet. Is it? He's
the whole fucking time.
No, I don't think so, man. Honestly, the whole quiet, loud thing seems to be all over the spectrum. Some people are telling me it's perfect. Some people are telling me it's low on their phones, but then it's high on their TV, and then the opposite seems to be true.
It's probably subjective.
I guess it's subjective, or some of you motherfuckers need to go get checked, honestly. Like, I feel like some of you guys have been listening to audio for too long, for you're so, like, in tune with things. I'm maxed out here, so I think you're okay, but try to get the mic closer just in case.
I'm fine. I'm okay.
Yeah, that's good. I'm starting to sweat, man. I'm dying.
I know.
Yeah, what were we saying? The Japanese, we were talking about Jiro.
Yeah. So he takes you on as an apprentice, right? For and he takes you in for free, feeds you everything.
Okay.
But you have to endure 10 years of practice.
10 years
before you're allowed to even like make like some of the dishes that they make. 10 years.
What kind of practice? Because the Japanese will always make you do something that you think at first has nothing to do with what you're doing, like Mr. Miyagi, like wax on, wax off. So this guy's probably telling him to like catch chickens. It's like, why am I catching chickens? I'm making sushi. Like there's not a single recipe with chickens.
Apparently, if I remember correctly, you're not even allowed to touch a fish before like 2 years.
Not even look at it. You don't even look at it.
You're not working at a sushi shop.
You massage cucumbers.
That's all you do.
Then from real cucumber, you move up to sea cucumber.
But see, that's the kind of standards that they implement on themselves. And this guy, and if you see his restaurant, it's in a subway station.
Yeah.
But Barack Obama, the Prime Minister of Japan, went there for lunch.
Of course they did.
Wallah, man.
That's the dude. That's the guy in every city, right? That's heard everything. He's seen everything.
But like the documentary is interesting because like there's this one guy that's a friend of Jiro and he's like a food critic, right, in Japan.
Okay.
And he starts comparing like the tasting menu of Jiro's restaurant to like a concerto, right?
Right.
So there's like the what do you call it? Whatever. Like there's like 3 movements to his tasting menu. There's the beginning part, there's the improvisation and the grand finale, and I'm looking at it, I'm like, bro, it's rice and fish. Yeah. Am I like not sophisticated enough to...
Do you know what I think it is, man? I swear I've thought of this my whole life because I feel like I struggle with the idea of whether something should be just simple and effective and gets to the point, or something should be deep and meaningful and kind of like enhances people's thoughts and feelings. And what I found is, I honestly believe this, right? When you look at something like the Japanese, right, and their attention to detail, their level of cultivation of something, the way they kind of they really delve into something. Like when they get obsessed with anything, they'll delve into it at the most impossible levels manageable, okay? But then there's like cultures like the American culture or even the Chinese that have an ability where they, especially when it comes to winning or playing a game or being competitive, that all they care about is what's the most effective. So if the most effective thing is for me to sell, and that's all it is, that's what gets me the win at the end of the day, at the end of the scoreboard, then that's what I'm going to go for, right? So you look at mixed martial arts as an example. They tossed away all the fluff, all the unnecessary stuff, and only the best thing will survive. So it usually is the most effective, the most simple. So what I've noticed is simplicity, so keep it simple, stupid, is usually the best thing for competitiveness and for winning, right? At life. Well, not life as in subjectively like, oh, you're a winner. No, but I mean like, you know, you want to beat a competition, you want to sell a product, you want to do that. It tends to be more effective, the simplicity. And that's why you have crappy movies, right?
Right.
But when it comes to value on a spiritual level, internally, right, as a human being, so what you would want for yourself to grow and be a deeper person with a much more kind of like meaningful life, you kind of have to go a bit deeper. Does that make sense? Do you know, am I losing you here? Why are you laughing?
You're just reminding me of someone.
Who, Kermit the Frog?
No.
What?
Someone else.
Am I talking about Adil? Who is that?
No.
All right, okay.
I'm not saying anything.
You're going to keep it a mystery,
Yeah, I'm just going to keep it a mystery.
Okay, all right. I'm just going to say that at the end of the day, it's like, you know, look at Conan the Barbarian.
I want to, you know, you've mentioned Jewish.
Just maybe name drop Conan the Barbarian, and then we're moving on.
We're just gonna do that because I want to bring it back to the local scene over here.
Right.
You mentioned Jewish people before. There's been this whole controversy around NBC for producing a series about Jewish people. right?
Okay.
Harun or something like that.
Mm.
I haven't watched it. To be honest, I couldn't give a fuck. But it's just interesting to see that why are people making a big fucking deal of this?
I don't know. And there's also the boys from Tosh Matosh. Didn't check the show. Well, I forgot this was gonna be the topic for this week's banter ranter. If you didn't come on, but I saw the clip. It was like basically a guy that's like, asking his friends. I forgot the name of the actor from Tosh Matosh. I don't know why it slipped my head.
Nasal Qasabi.
Thank you. Yes, and the fact that he's telling him, and what's wrong with Jewish people? What's wrong with Israel? Like,
no.
Hey, that's the conversation they're having. Like, what do you mean? And he goes, I don't know what's wrong with it. And I think it's because he wants to do business. I haven't seen the whole episode. That's why I don't want to talk about it without knowing what it's about.
Right.
But I'm noticing that there's a trend in mainstream Arab media and Middle Eastern media this year where we're kind of like being like, hey,
yeah.
You know what? So maybe we don't hate the Israelis that much anymore.
They're not that bad.
Yeah?
Right? Yeah.
How about everything to the east of us? How about everything to the east of us? Fuck them.
Thank you. You reminded me. That's why people are making a big fucking deal over this TV show. Is because people are saying, oh...
You're normalizing.
Yeah, you're normalizing the whole thing. You want to do business with them and whatever, right?
Okay.
So I don't know if this is like a conspiracy theory, but if it was a conspiracy theory, it's a very believable conspiracy theory.
Right.
Yeah,
No, this is a believable one. I can see it. But it's not. It's less of a conspiracy theory than an agenda. Like a conspiracy implies that they are trying to trick us into doing something when really they're going, hey, you guys open to this now? Do you feel like you're ready for this?
But then again, I think they're reading too much into it. That you can't deny the existence of Christians and Jewish people in the Middle East. They're there.
They're there. And historically, we've always had relationships with them.
Exactly.
Like we've had trade, we've had commerce. They've been in our communities. They've been in our empires. So the idea that they don't represent a segment of our population is not true, and it's only a modern phenomenon. Like in the past, when you said "Wahad Arabi," an Arab, you could be an Arab Coptic, you can be Arab Zoroastrian, I guess. You can be an Arab Jew, and even Jew wasn't necessarily it's not always associated necessarily with just the culture. Sometimes it's purely the religion. So I've heard, for example, North Africans call themselves Arab Jews, and so there's a lot of distinctions of that. And
huge Jewish community in North Africa.
Yeah, massive,
especially in Morocco. Yeah,
exactly. So I wouldn't be surprised that, like everything in history, there's an ebb and flow. Like now we're going back to normalizing relations, because nobody trusts China anymore.
But see, that's you were talking about Arab conspiracy theories on Ranter last week, right?
Yes.
And the whole conspiracy with this Jewish thing, right? The problem with Arabs is I believe they really read between the lines too much.
In what sense?
They want to come up with this whole hidden message with this Harun shit on NBC.
What is the show about? What is it?
From what I saw, from the trailers, it's about a Jewish family.
Okay.
And they're in a neighborhood next to the Christians or something like that.
Okay.
I don't know if there's Muslims involved as well.
Okay.
I don't know if they want to bring that trifecta together.
So you're saying that is the show inherently about their Jewishness, or is it about just communities?
About the cultural differences.
Communities and cultural differences and stuff like that.
Yeah. So in the end, it's a fucking typical Khaliji show disguised as a religious thing.
Right. Okay.
They ran out of ideas.
But
Saad, you've already played the grandmother, the mother, the daughter, the whatever. It's you got to play a Jew now. Play a Jewish person.
That's a challenge, though, isn't it? Right? If you're trying to figure it out, what if they go through it? They're like, "Shit, I'm studying all the Jewish traditions and beliefs," and you're like, "This is very similar to what we do." Does that shock you?
What?
What?
Have I been fooled?
What? We're both from desert backgrounds. What? We both share Semitic beliefs. Because, by the way, a lot of people are under the impression okay, fair enough. You have political leanings and skepticism towards Israel. I get that. Towards Zionists, I get that. Okay, everybody knows there's conflicting agendas there. There's bad people on all sides. Fair enough. But there's a lot of people that also always have the image of Jews in the Middle East. They have that Ashkenazi Jew, that
what
white.
is
that white European Scarlett Johansson Jew. Do you know what I mean?
Okay.
But no, they're not always that. That's the Hollywood Jew. That's
Very
the Russian.
pale white. Yeah.
Now they can tend to be very dominant in certain cultures, but the majority are Semitic Jews. Yeah, North African, brown, just like me and you. You can't tell the difference. Like I was surprised, like Miami being the real capital of Israel. I swear I was so surprised. Like I was like, wait, you're Jews? You look like Ali. Ali Hassan. But then you look like just like, what the hell is going on here? There's something you're doing your hair differently, but it seems like you're kind of us, and they understand Arabic, and they
it's a whole thing. Bro, we're from the same fucking region. Yeah, خلاص, accept that.
What's the Henna, by the way, people are like listening right now. They're like, this fucking show. This show is sponsored by Israel. This show is meant to normalize relationships with the Israelis. I found them out. This is the point of Bedouin Banter. That is the idea. Pay me. If that's the case, then please fucking pay me, Israel. Because I'm not getting shit for this.
There's a whole like fucking. Are we gonna talk about Corona-chan, or should we like just?
Do you want to? We're at that we're at the 30-minute mark, like just under 30, so we can ask people questions.
We've been going for 30 minutes.
No, we're at the we're 8 minutes past an hour now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I just wanted to make to point out one thing that I've heard. Apparently, like there's this whole messaging thing going on WhatsApp. People telling others that you shouldn't social distance because that prevents you from building up an immunity. Yeah. Get the fuck out of here. That's the only thing I'm gonna mention about Corona.
Yeah.
Okay. Don't listen to these fuckers.
No. I'm just gonna say, guys, that apparently you should follow the World Health Organization guidelines, but apparently you shouldn't either. So nobody knows what's the case here. I've been literally talking to a friend of mine that's a doctor. He's an ENT today. He's a fan of the show as well. And I'm trying to get from him any clue, any indication what the Bahraini kind of position is on things. Just because when you're listening to a topic like this, and it's projected at the world level, and at that scale, you tend to hear the narrative from China. China says, oh, the U.S. started this. They make from the Army Games. They bring it to Wuhan. And then the Americans are like, oh, fuck you. We didn't say it was from the Wuhan viral lab. Now we're confirming that it is from you guys. And then the World Health Organization doesn't want to get involved with Taiwan. And they used to say that it can't be spread from human to human transmission. So they changed their minds about that. Then masks were bad. Now masks are good.
Did you hear about people freaking out over like the 2 cats that got it in New York City?
No, I heard about cats getting it. I didn't know about the story of freaking people out. But
apparently, yeah.
Can I just finish up this line
of thought? Go for it. I didn't want to open the whole topic of Corona.
Yeah, I didn't want to either, but I just wanted to say that I like to get the Bahraini Arab perspective on these world scale topics, or these like huge global topics, because we tend to have a very unique point of view that's never presented on the world scale. And you want to be able to know where the bullshit from the truth is, and apparently nobody fucking knows. Nobody knows what's going on.
We tend to have a very blame Israel view on things.
It's funny how like everybody's blaming China, and then there's a few people that's like, it's fucking Israel, isn't it? It has to be Israel.
Either Israel or Iran.
So yeah, it's been that's the case currently. Nobody seems to know what we still don't have enough information. There's still not enough conclusive studies being done. Everything from antivirals to the fact that the whole thing has just been a mess as far as how people handle it in certain countries. So we're just gonna have to wait and see.
Oh, can I retract my statements?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yes.
You wanted to do that.
I wanted to retract my statements that I've said in the last time I was here.
When this first thing was first breaking out. Yeah.
Now at the time of recording, the coronavirus wasn't the big deal that it was now. So I may have said some things along the lines of the flu kills more people than the coronavirus.
At the time, it did.
At the time,
so
it did.
So you were correct at the time.
I was correct at the time, but I wish to retract those statements now. And I'm going to tell you, stay the fuck at home, okay? Now, I know I'm not following my example, but do as I say, not as I do.
He's more than 6 feet away from me, I can tell you that.
Someone's got to entertain you, motherfuckers.
Yeah, he's fine. He's good. He's been in isolation this whole time. This is his only day out.
Oh, yeah.
And then you're back in, huh? Because Baba's here tomorrow.
Baba's here tomorrow, bro.
Baba's back.
And you know what adds insult to injury? Fucking, like, you know how I got into Battlefront now, right?
Okay.
Battlefront 2, like, that's my shit.
Yeah, you're into the Star
Wars.
Really
good at it, right? Dice is cutting off the game. They're canceling
What?
it. Yeah, the last update that they released will be the final update.
But what do you mean by canceling it? They're just stopping.
Like they're stopping updates. They're stopping everything.
Yeah, but stopping updates is fine, but they're not stopping servers, right? People are still going to be able to play.
No. The servers
play.
are gonna still run.
Yeah, that's all that matters. Oh, so you got your money's worth out of it. That's all.
Barely. Like I fucking downloaded
you
the
just
game
started.
like a month
That's
ago. That's the problem.
These people have had it for years now.
You know, like sometimes I'd wait in the lobby for like half an hour just to get like a supremacy match.
Yeah, that's the thing. These games, a lot of them, you never know which platform to play them on. It's difficult, but you'd think there'd be a spike because, man, I swear to God, like everybody seems to be handling this problem with isolation, social distancing, handling it so badly. But all my gamer friends, everybody's fine. Like it's like nothing has changed.
Bro,
What am I doing? I don't go out. Like me more so nowadays because I left the radio, so I've kind of gone back into those habits, and I get to see more of my gamer friends, things that I haven't done in a long time, massive painting sessions, stuff like that, and even the guys that play tabletop, like Warhammer. We haven't met in person to play, but I know people are playing online through like Tabletop Simulator, stuff like that. So for gamers, it's like, well, if you've already had that lifestyle for years, and you're just relying on either delivery or like Insta food at your house, cereal and that shit.
Yeah.
And you're just online with your bros, you're playing on Discord. Who gives a shit?
You know what's exciting for me is that I always, I still call myself a casual gamer, but right now I'm doubling down on video games.
Yeah.
So I'm sort of playing all these video games that I've heard of before, like, oh, you should play this, you should play that. I'm like, fuck it, yeah, I'll download that shit. I'll fucking download that shit. So I'm becoming like your typical fat fuck gamer.
Man,
right?
I swear to God, video game money, it is impenetrable. Like, if you're talking about video game stock, it has done nothing but grow. Oof. It has done nothing but outcompete, outplay, outdo everything else.
I mean, save for a few incidents with EA.
No, but they don't lose money, though. They get PR backlash, for sure. But EA is making bank no matter what, man. What I'm saying is that as a market, like as its own little ecosystem, video game money has never been sour. It's always been up. It always grows. Everybody else gets shut down in this time period.
So long as there are recliners and Mountain Dew, bro.
Yeah, people are fine, bro.
People are fine.
I saw this meme from somebody that sent it the other day. They were talking about like you can spot a gamer, how you can spot a gamer, and they show people like on their freaking Zoom meetings at work. And like everybody has this shitty like front-facing camera, like just setting themselves. They look all oily and yellowed. And then there's this one guy that's got the LCD screen and the proper like vlogging camera, and he's like chilled out, freaking PC in the back, and it's like perfect webcam. It's like I'm used to streaming, bro. Come at me, bro. What do you got? What do you got?
Fuck online classes, bro. Fuck that shit.
Are you still doing that?
Yeah.
How's that going? How's Bahrain handling that? Come on, give us the student perspective.
I went on a rant about it on Instagram.
Oh yeah, you did.
I fucking told them, I said that, they should cancel the semester because it's pointless. It's fucking pointless. But my friend then argued like, oh, how are they going to pay the teachers' salaries? I'm like, bro, everyone's sacrificing over here. Let the teachers fucking sacrifice as well.
Hey, man, right? Teachers already sacrifice a lot, okay?
I know. Okay, so just sacrifice a little bit more because... Bro, like you're not absorbing nearly as much information. That's my opinion on the whole matter. Okay, you're not absorbing nearly as much information as you will if you're in class because honestly, like you're just tempted to procrastinate. You're just tempted to put the phone or the laptop on the side and play your video games. Then you're not really required for, at least in my university, you're not required to switch on your webcam or anything like your microphone.
But isn't that like, to be honest, right? Isn't that just you being a dick? Like, do you know what I mean? Like, you are choosing not to participate. Not that the system is flawed. Mm-hmm. Like, is there actually anything that's a deficit with the capture of the class?
Look, in terms of like the quality that they're putting out and the teaching method, excellent, and no complaint whatsoever.
Yeah.
Right. But in terms of like student participation, I'll give you one example, bro. My mechanics class should have 21 people in it.
Okay.
You know how many people logged on today?
No.
5.
Yeah, but that's their own fault, bro.
Exactly. So people are like, you know what? Fuck it. I don't care anymore. Okay, and everyone's like freaking out over this project that we have to submit on the 21st. Like, oh, I don't know what to do.
But how
What's
is this
going on?
any different? How is this any different
Jed
than
Ahmed,
not showing
Jed
up to
Ahmed
class?
called me the other day and he was like, bro, I'm going to spend another year in Polytechnic. He was supposed to graduate this year.
And what happened?
He had one
that
fucking
one tweet.
class. One fucking class.
It's one tweet when he just dished. He dissed Polytechnic, right, in one fucking tweet. And the guy, he puts it out there on Twitter. So I'm like, hey, I'm going to help him out. So I just comment at Polytechnic. Tweet. I swear, not even a minute passed as the tweet is deleted. I was like, why are you trash talking? Why are you trash talking, bro, if you're not going to say it to their face?
I was really public about my opinions. Yeah, it was on my Instagram.
I saw that.
In my opinion,
you should mention them, though.
Kuwait, you know what Kuwait did?
No.
They just gave a pass to everyone. They're like, okay, we'll continue next semester.
Yeah, but Kuwait is just like lazy, bro.
Kuwait is Kuwait. I get it, Zayn. But I'm talking about like the amount of material that you're going to absorb.
Yeah, but it's not. I feel
and
like
if you're in class,
I'm coming at an impasse here with you. Okay, I know I'm being a bit of a cock blocker when it comes to your needs.
I welcome
as a student. But I feel like there's no different. Like if the
arguments.
technology is there, right? Fair enough. Okay, if the technology is there, there's no fault in the technology. The teachers are not being they're not being lazier. They're not taking advantage of the fact that nothing's happening for them to kind of dick around. Then you can claim, hey, they're wasting the money of my tuition, what I paid to actually get in this class. But if people are feeling demotivated because they're like, guys, everything's fucked anyway. The economy's screwed over. People are not going to jobs. Why do we have to keep doing stuff?
Let me give you an example of why I think like they're even like telling you that, hey man, this is bullshit. Okay, we're just gonna give you a pass on a silver platter.
Right.
I have to submit 5 assignments, 4 of which I did, and the last one I'm gonna submit tomorrow. Okay, and if I submit those assignments, I get a 40%.
Okay.
Right, and then I have an exam. Okay, in June, that's an open book exam, online open book exam. That's going to account for 60%. So basically, what they're doing is they're handing me a pass on a silver platter. And the people that know Polytechnic is fucking tough, bro. You have to be on your ass studying 24/7. Yani you either you get the information in your fucking head or you're going to fail.
Right.
So by implementing a system like this, and then we're basically just handing it out, you're not really motivating the student, or you're not encouraging them or forcing them to open their textbooks and revise.
Do you feel like that is their fault? Like, as in they should make it more difficult?
It's not. It's not their fault. They did the best they can given the circumstances that they're in.
Yeah.
And then, honestly, I'm just waiting to see how detrimental it will be once we resume university,
like
normally.
The normal operations and stuff. Yeah, and I get it. I know that it's not easy to want to be like involved in something if you feel like they're not even involved. Like if you get the impression that they're doing the bare minimum, then sometimes that does have a demotivating effect on kids and students and adults as well. It's a real thing. But at the end of the day, I feel like if I was a student, right, and if I had nothing else to do, like assuming I'm not a gamer, assuming I've got nothing else to procrastinate about, then honestly, sometimes just being a part of a class feels like some kind of time filler for me. I'm out there, I'm listening to the guy, he's teaching stuff. It feels like I got something to do. Like, it's weird how this whole pandemic has kind of brought out 2 types of people. There are people that are being ultra productive right now. Like the stuff I've been able to get done, and I'm not saying I'm amazing at this. I've been actually slacking off, and I'm not necessarily doing the stuff that is the most important for me. I was lucky to already have the streaming platform set up. Like the fact that we did it and got things set up like a month and a half of like continuous. You remember we were doing week in, week out, kind of like uploads. And so I have this setup here all sorted right before Corona kicks in, Corona-chan. So I have the advantage of doubling down on this and actually doing some work and taking it to the next level. Sheda, my wife, she's been doing the same thing around the house. We've been trying to commit to cleaning up the house, doing stuff. We already had spring cleaning plans for this time of the year. And the fact that this kicked in made it so we have no distractions, right? Weight loss, still a problem.
Always going to be a problem, bro.
No matter what. I have started working out again, but I have not controlled my food.
I started doing DDP yoga.
What the fuck is DDP yoga? Is
It's,
that like the wrestling move?
it's Diamond Dallas something.
Yeah.
The guy that started was an
Yeah,
ex-wrestler.
yeah.
right?
That's I remember this. I remember this guy. This is the guy that got that one guy that was really overweight.
The veteran guy that
Yes.
had like a spinal injury.
Yes, yeah,
And he was
yeah,
walking
yeah.
with crutches.
I remember he was on Rogan. This guy was on Rogan.
Yeah. Rogan's friends with him actually.
Yeah.
And Zabari gave me the workout, bro. It's like 25 minutes.
Yeah.
It's a 25-minute workout.
More than good enough.
It's intense,
Dude, yoga is intense.
It's intense. Yeah,
Oh,
we lost another light.
There's another one.
Now our natural faces are gonna show, bro.
Yeah. Oh, I still have my last one. That's the time limit. I feel we're at like an hour 20 right now, and that gives me an idea of OJ. That's OJ's light, by the way,
Okay.
the one that just went down. Shout out to OJ.
Shout out to OJ who's working on something good.
He's working on something good, guys.
Working on something real good.
OJ, the third mic here, he used to be on the show with us, me and Matrook, and he's when these two first joined on, that's where we started the series, the Banter Buddies series, from this podcast, and he went into film school
Yeah.
in Chicago.
Wrong time to fucking
Was
go.
it Detroit or Chicago?
Maryland.
I thought it
Baltimore.
was Detroit. Oh, Baltimore. That's right.
Baltimore,
That was
yeah,
wrong with me. I knew it was somewhere there was a lot of crime.
Yeah.
I knew that part. So he's in Baltimore. Go Ravens. And he's been doing well. And he's got an amazing script.
Yeah,
Honestly,
which
short
I've read.
film.
I'm not sure if we can discuss it,
No,
but like
it's
all
a short film. It's really nice.
It's a short film. All I can tell is I wanted more.
I wanted more. I
wanted
was
more.
disappointed with the ending because it wouldn't give me more.
It wouldn't-
It
exactly.
was so annoying. But yeah, that's the case with him. He's going to be coming back soon enough, and he's going to be shooting this in Bahrain, by the way.
Holy shit!
Yes. Hope I get a cameo.
I hope so too.
Yeah, I hope he doesn't take his light back. All right, okay. So what were we talking about before we ended? We're at the last couple of minutes. Do you want to take questions?
Sure. If there are any questions,
Guys, this is we're gonna keep talking, but you guys give us some questions if you have them. Any topics you want us to discuss. The final few minutes of the show are gonna be dedicated to that. At least 15 minutes if we can manage it.
You know. Now that my dad's back, I don't know if I'll be able to come back for the show.
It's
I mean,
fine.
oh, it's fine.
It's fine. Yeah, we're
You
good. Don't worry. I got
that's it?
Donovan now. Do you know that just having
such Adobe, just go for
Listen,
the Americans.
listen,
Just go
this is
for
what
the
I'm
white
saying.
folk, bro.
This is the truth about
Such a fucking error.
any Middle Eastern business. You want to bring up the business, the stock value. All you have to do is hire a white guy. That's it. Immediately, my stock the stock went up. I don't know why. He's obviously not qualified. If you see the interview, you know why. But it's just the case.
Best, I'll actually try to get in for a few episodes here and there. If yeah.
I wanted to do with Donovan, you, and some of the other guys.
Oh, that would be fucking amazing.
We do an improv session, a podcast improv game that I have in mind. We just do a full episode that's just improv based. Have fun with that. There's a bunch of stuff I feel like we're gonna be able to do. Do such a chicken nugget. Yeah,
Who said that?
that's Redeemer.
Redeemer.
Yeah,
Oh, I know who that is.
Redeemer.
Yeah, I'll talk to you tonight,
That's
Redeemer.
right.
It's fine, lid.
Apparently, the yoga that you're talking about, it's a DPP, right?
DDP.
DDP. He helped Gabriel Iglesias lose weight.
Yeah.
He's another comedian that's on the heavier side.
But then Gabriel Iglesias lost his hair as well at the same time.
He's no longer fluffy, is he?
No.
He's no longer in that category. He's
He's
more
just a blob.
he's more like squishy now. But yeah, that's one of them. Adil asks, did getting into stand-up open you to new types of comedy? Adil, by the way, shout out to you. Adil's one of our contributors. I like to call people that participate in the show contributors. Makes them feel like special, right? Because you
Yeah.
are a special Adil. I didn't get a chance to see your stand-up, by the way.
It's like a sales specialist, right?
Yeah, that's right. It's like he's contributing to the New York Times.
Yes.
So Adil has tried stand-up, apparently. I didn't get a chance to see it, brother. I'm sorry. I tend to get distracted with stuff. I'll see it and I'll give you an opinion. But to answer your question, did getting into stand-up open you to new types of comedy? Not really. When I first started doing improv, I noticed that it was because I had a really bad experience the first time doing open mic at the Lions Den in London. And it scared the shit out of me for years, so I never did stand-up after that. And when I first got to Miami, I wanted to do something to do with comedy.
What was your first stand-up like? What was your first open mic like?
It was terrible.
You get like tunnel vision?
I was scared because I didn't realize it was a gong show.
Okay.
So that means like, have you ever seen the British style gong show comedy shows?
Yeah.
And if you're bombing, they just like gong you out. And the Lion's Den had a gorilla in a costume that would like gong you out, and some other animals at one point or another, a lion costume. I don't know why it was a gorilla. It didn't make sense. But this guy did, and I went up on stage and realized that I was going to do a joke that had it was basically the Middle East, and something about basically not like the relationship between Arabs and Jews and how similar our mothers are, and man, just pointing out little observation based humors. And this Israeli chick went up before me that was like a half Brit, half Israeli, and she covered so much of that stuff already.
Oh no!
Apparently, it was a genre.
She shafted you, didn't she?
No, I didn't know her. She didn't know me. Nothing. But she was like a regular on the mic, and it was so similar to some of the stuff I did. And then I went up, and I'm like an asshole. That like I didn't even get to hear me, because I just realized I was like, I can't just do some of the stuff that she did, because she did mine better plus a lot more, and they kept letting her go on. Because if you're good, they'll give you more time to go on. If you're terrible, you're out within the first minute.
Right.
So I just kept stuttering and not getting things right, and I kept messing up my lines and my thought process, and then the gorilla just gonged me out, and that was it. And they were like, you fucker, get off the fucking stage, mate. You're fucking terrible, mate. Fuck off.
Oh god.
There's always that one guy like, fuck off, mate. That's that was the experience. And then plus it didn't help that I was high.
Oh.
Was not a good experience.
That gorilla must have been a fucking adventure then, bro. Where the fuck are you coming from, bro?
Yeah.
Where the fuck
What is this? What is happening?
Did they roof me out of the fucking Amazon jungle right now, bro? What's going on?
Where is this? What is happening? There's a goddamn gorilla in a costume here. Why is it called the Lion's Den if they have a gorilla? They're not even the same continent. Yes, they are. It's terrible. It's bad biology. So I stopped. I never went back after that. Years later, then when I moved to Florida, I wanted to do comedy again. I wanted to try it because that was my phase of like, do anything.
Yeah.
You can do anything.
Yeah.
This is your time to shine. It's your early 30s. Yeah. It's like 28 to 30.
How old are you, bro?
Then I was 27, 28.
Okay.
When I started doing this, and I was like, this is your chance before you get into your 30s to actually live life. And I got into kite surfing and kendo and all kinds of shit. And when I did comedy, I wanted to kind of like dip my toes back into it. And improv, as you know, is kind of more of a team-based thing.
Yeah.
Very support-oriented, yes, and doing so. I was like, hey, let's try improv. I saw like some people advertising for it, and I joined up. And that's how I did it. And it ended up being a unique experience. But I don't think most people would go from stand-up to improv unless they were desperate. Like, what about yourself? Like,
Me?
Yeah, like, what is the reason you would ever go into other kinds of comedy? Like, that's the question from Adil. Like,
for me, again, like, I think it's also a case of like, okay, I'm 22, so I'm just try as much as I can. But it wasn't, for me, it was just sort of branching out, right? Like trying to be a jack of all trades, like learning from improv to improve my stand-up and vice versa.
Yeah.
Right? And the next frontier that I want to conquer is sketch comedy.
Yeah.
So like write little scripts and stories here and there and post it on YouTube, hopefully, not Instagram. No.
What is that phenomenon?
The market's been fucking saturated here.
No, but it's so weird that Arabs are more into WhatsApp videos and Instagram than they are into YouTube.
I don't know.
Do you notice that?
I don't know.
Like you'd think that most of these sketch comedy groups...
It's the fucking ads on YouTube, bro.
Is it though?
It is.
They're not that bad.
Bro, YouTube...
You can't wait a few seconds.
YouTube Premium is...
Right? That's what I got, man. The second
fuck,
I found out, I was like, shit, man. Like, I didn't even know I was paying for YouTube Premium because of my Google Play. Yeah. I didn't even know that feature for locking your phone and being able to listen was available. And for years, I didn't understand why every time I went to London to see my family, I'd suddenly be able to listen to stuff on my phone whilst it's locked. And I was like, what the fuck is going on?
Bro, I forgot that YouTube even has ads.
Right?
Honestly, it's so good.
Yeah. But I get that. Maybe it's because of the advertising and everything else, then you probably would be annoyed.
It's also more accessible. I know, we've discussed this before. Instagram is a prominent fucking app. It's the most popular app in the Middle East.
Yeah.
يعني خلاص Instagram على قولتهم.
Yeah, but wouldn't you, like, it's funny that they want something digestible and quick and fast under a minute. You know what I mean?
What I would do is basically what you've been doing with the podcast. Like, I'd
clips.
put like clips on Instagram just to get it just for people to get a taste of it.
Yeah.
And then like I'd link the YouTube a channel to my
Yeah, yeah,
Instagram
yeah.
accounts.
It's whatever you can do, I guess, to promote stuff. It works in one way or another.
Yeah, like I said, I do sketch. You know, we've been working on a few
Try it,
things here
man.
and there.
You should. You should. Other people, if you want to, always. I feel like improv is an easier route into comedy, even though improv doesn't necessarily make you a better comedian.
I believe they sort of complement each other. Yani, for me,
They can.
The transition from stand up to improv was natural,
Yeah.
right? So I think like with improv, I'll learn the whole teamwork, the whole direction thing, and
Yeah.
whatever, which will get me into
I
sketch
think
comedy.
if I'm gonna honestly say it this way, I feel like improv is a better link to writing than it is to stand up, because improv kind of teaches you how to brainstorm ideas and think of characterizations and think of tangents. So it actually makes you a really good public speaker, makes you kind of think on the fly and kind of improvise.
Yeah.
But it doesn't necessarily, not every type of improv that you do will necessarily be funny, because we talked about like the drama based ones that are
Yeah.
very format based, very, some people will call pretentious, some people will call the high form, the high form of thespians. By the way, key word of the day, if anybody's been watching Afterlife season 2 and you love The Therapist, the word of my week has been thespussy.
I've been hearing about that show.
Dude, watch that show.
Would you? Yeah.
Ricky Gervais is honestly killing it with that
Let
show.
me finish Better Call Saul first, and then
Please do. Ricky
yeah.
Gervais has a masterpiece and nobody knows about it. Right, next question. Do you guys think that the opening of things again is a good idea, considering the last time we opened up things, the cases of Kurana-chan rose up again?
Who was that?
That's a Redeemer.
Redeemer.
Yeah.
You want to go first?
Yeah, I'll go first. Well, I think honestly that it's a good test bed that places like Germany, Florida, and other countries like the Scandinavian countries are all kind of easing up on lockdown regulations and opening up, because then we can get to see and find out what happens. With Florida, I think it's a bigger risk because you have a lot of old people, and yet surprisingly, Florida hasn't had as many cases as some of the other states, but that might change. So it's a bigger risk there. I feel like with Germany and Scandinavia, they have really good healthcare systems, specifically the Scandinavian countries. So they've got a better chance of opening up and finding out, how bad could this be if we let it just spread it a little bit, and let people build up immunities. If that is the case, we still don't know if people can be reinfected. A lot of people have said that reinfections could be actually people that have false positives the first time around, and now they're getting infected, so that's why they're getting reinfected.
Just like AIDS.
Yeah, but really we don't know anything. We don't know if people can get reinfected or not. So this will help with some of the theories out there and putting it to the test. But at least we have some people that do have the healthcare systems that can handle it. Now, as for Bahrain, I was going to cover the last part about Bahrain. I don't know what the best move is for Bahrain. I would ask our friend, the doc, about what would be the best case or the best scenario going forward, maybe for Bahrain. That I used to think, I was like, Bahrain might have done a really good job at it, to the point that it's not spreading at all, and yet we still have cases. So how, you know what I mean? Like that, wouldn't that prolong things if that's the case?
Yeah.
So
see, my opinion on the whole thing is, I was talking to an older person the other day.
Yeah.
I'm not going to mention who, but he was telling me that, you see, this is where Europe fails. This is where democracy fails. They're going to open up all the shops for them because the people cried, oh, we need our freedom, we need our whatever. They're going to get reinfected. They're going to get whatever. He's like, you need a government that's hard on the people. You need a government that'll shut down everything until this thing is eradicated.
Bullshit.
Right?
Bullshit. You like military rule? Like,
basically, yeah, martial law.
No. Not in the States. No way. That's what they want. What all these militia people want, all these hicks, they just want proof. Dude, they've been geared up for years. They're like, Obama, he's gotten us ready with their death camps and the FEMA drills, and they have everything ready. The government's coming for us and coming for our guns.
But see, my opinion on the whole thing, to answer Red's question, is gradual, stage by stage. Like,
because you have to, right?
Yeah, lazim. You can't. The world has to start working again, right? Say مثلا, for example, in Bahrain's case now, they're like, public gatherings of more than 5 are not allowed. The next stage will be, public gatherings of 10 are not allowed. And that they slowly, gradually, like, okay, we're going to open up say hair salons. That's the first thing they're gonna fucking open up, right? Gonna
That,
open up
that goddamn hair salon lobby. They're so powerful, man. It's guys, metro guys, and women that are really freaking powering
There's gonna
behind
be
that.
like a massive fucking loophole, right? If hair salon galleries open up, the five or more rule can't apply because
Yeah.
it's technically
So
not a public
saying. See,
place.
just showing you guys, I've committed to my hair no matter what. I have stayed concise about my haircut. This is Sheda's work, as you can see. Proper COVID precautions have been taken, so it's terrible. So that's why I feel like people need to hang out more a bit at home and not rush to the salons.
Learn how to cut your fucking beard, bro.
Dude, yeah, seriously.
Jesus.
Some of you guys have issues.
It's not that complicated.
I know, what the fuck? That's what YouTube is for. God damn it. So that's a good point, man. I think maybe an ebb and flow, let
Yeah.
some kind of like,
Because you can't celebrate.
De-escalation.
You can't celebrate too early,
no,
right?
you don't want to.
Doesn't mean you gotta take
And
it
so
slow.
Ramadan anyway, you know, you can't do it, like
Live up.
at least wait till after Ramadan.
Yeah.
Just see what the white people do first.
I think by the time Eid comes, they're gonna slowly sort of, if the situation like stays the way it is now and
Yeah.
doesn't like, there's no more increase in cases, they're gonna go a bit lax on the rules.
I think they might go on certain maybe economic sectors just to be able to see how we can manage the ebb and flow about the finances in the country. And I think people naturally during Ramadan, we already have a slowdown economically anyway. So a lot of places don't have as much marketing, don't have as much things to do during Ramadan. So this was already always going to be a slump, but not as severely as it is now, obviously. So maybe something that kind of generates more income, more wealth for people, gets things back into shape on the service level. And we see where we go from there. I feel like I think they should do the analysis on an economic level, not just on a healthcare level. I think Bahrain has done really well as far as maintaining the correct measures. First, listening to the healthcare providers and people that know what they're doing from that side of things. But now, when it comes to opening up, they have to figure out what they need to prioritize first economically. Like, okay, this sector, this sector, this sector. These need to first be, eased up a bit on. We need to figure out solutions to give them, either logistics help or something else to keep the momentum moving. There are some people doing amazing packages for Ramadan, like deals
Yeah.
for food and everything else. They're desperate, man. They're trying their best, small businesses. So those are the ones I worry about.
There's a lot of influencers supporting small businesses.
Don't get on that. Please don't. Okay, this has been one of your pet peeves recently. All right, so for geek size only, it's Ayad saying,
What's up, Ayad?
What's up, buddy? Ayad. I'm going to have him on the podcast again soon enough. Craziest things you witnessed in Florida.
Khalid Dosari.
Does it have to be? That's one of them. But does it have to be something I actually witnessed, like as in with my own two eyes, or was it like near me when it happened? Did I talk about the car, the firebomb on the car before?
No.
Okay, so
I don't think that was safe for radio.
no, I didn't ever talk about it on radio, but I was wondering if I talked about it on the podcast or
think
something.
so,
Okay,
no.
so this is a good one. This is the craziest thing I've ever seen. Okay, so in Miami Beach, where I was living in the first time I moved there, and then I relocated after that because Miami Beach is a very touristy part of Miami, so it's not like downtown. You don't get to meet real people. It's mostly tourists and people that are snowbirds. They live there part of the year. So in the part of the years that has issues, so if you're living in those buildings, you tend to fly up to New York or other places for the rest of the year and then come down when New York is like cold in the winter, so snowbirds, right? There's a part where you guys know, Spring Break,
Yeah.
right? Ultra Music Festival,
Mhm.
you know that, right? In Miami, the one they don't talk about is what's called Black Spring Break, okay, or Memorial Day. Black Spring Break, okay? Or Memorial Day weekend, or Urban Beach weekend.
I heard
okay?
of Memorial Day weekend, yeah.
Okay, so Memorial Day weekend is usually also when all the festivities for Urban Beach weekend happens, and that means everybody from every possible ghetto in the U.S. The most urban, the blackest of the black, come at you from every city, from Atlanta, from Detroit, from everywhere you can think of.
They just flock.
They
to
flock
Florida.
to Miami
Yeah.
Beach, and everything is R&B, everything is hip hop, everything is thug life, everything is like black culture, and for a lot of people it's amazing because you get to see the same kind of like festivals and stuff that happen there. But the issues with Urban Beach weekend is that there's a lot of people from rival gangs that show up.
Holy shit.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get
So a
that, yeah,
lot
okay.
of people that don't like each other from different cities, different rivalries, different, rappers,
Fuck
everything.
it. Florida's going to be our battleground, bro.
It becomes the fucking battleground, man. I shit you not. Urban Beach weekend, the cops set up these towers on the entries for every causeway into Miami Beach. They have patrols. Every single county is on alert. So every cop from every different county, even freaking Okeechobee, which is like basically Native American. So they're cops with like gators as patrol. K9 unit, but with gators. Goddamn Okeechobee police. And then in Miami Beach, what happens is like you see every now and then you'll like everybody leaves. It's just the people that want to stay there that live there, right? And the rest, everybody gets the fuck out. I didn't know this the first day I was in Miami. Nobody told me anything. I didn't have any plans to go anywhere. So somebody just said, listen, if you've never been to Urban Beach weekend, just don't go out. Stay, enjoy yourself, order everything you need to home. Don't do anything. And because they were worried for me. And I was like, what do you mean? Is it like you're in the center of it? We're on the inside of downtown Miami. You might not even be able to leave if the cops have those checkpoints up. And I was like, fuck, is it that bad? They were like, you're going to find out. And I sit on the balcony and they're like, just enjoy the beers. I look outside from the balcony where I'm at, and you could see South Point all the way to Miami, Washington Avenue. And man, fucking people running after each other, people gunning people down. Every 5 seconds, at some point, you hear blah, 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 blah. Just something or another, police cars chasing. And then the one thing I did see was some motherfucker firebombed the car
Holy shit.
right next to my building.
Like a fucking Molotov?
Like a Molotov or something like that, or they lit the gas tank on fire or something, but the car didn't explode. It was just like burning.
Holy shit.
Like a freaking riot, man. And these guys are moving down the streets like it was the Purge, bro. Like, if they ever did like the black version of the Purge, it would be Miami Beach Urban Weekend. And nobody would be staying indoors, by the way. Everybody would be fuck off or in the streets. That's about it. That is the craziest shit I've ever seen, I think, in Miami that I can think of at the moment. So that's that story. Dude, another thing. He says, you can't keep these new generation of kids' attention for more than 10 seconds. That's why short-term comedy is over, and well thought-out comedy is not a favorable one, no matter how good it is. Yeah, it depends. It depends. Like, it seems like these days, either people are into like the 10-second format or they're into like 3 hours. It's like there's no between. I don't know why.
There has to be a middle ground, okay?
Yeah.
We got jobs.
Right. I know. It needs to something needs to happen to bring things back. Honestly, we need to get a better hold of the whole situation. I feel it's too early. That's Abdullah talking about it. He's a healthcare provider. He's talking about Bahrain and COVID. FEMA drills and eggs, hair salon lobby. I'm just catching up to everything in the chat. You have to look at the second wave of infections. That's what Red says.
Ooh, is the second wave coming?
Right? That sounds like a movie.
I know.
Corona-chan. The second wave.
The second coming.
The second wave of coming. That's it. I swear, we're going to find out. It's going to happen in Germany, bro. Like, a lot of Germans are going to be sounding those old, like, sirens, the ones they haven't turned on since World War II. Achtung, Achtung, die Amerikaner! Achtung, the COVID-19! Das wird die Amerikaner, der COVID! Aber schnell und gefährdet! Some dude, like, rises to power. Golaf, Bittler. And he's got just a reverse Hitler mustache where he's shaved the middle part. He just kept the sides.
What I have right now, basically.
And this time it's not going to be the Arabs. It's not going to be the Jews. It's going to be the Arabs, I mean. The Arabs have brought it to Germany.
And there'll be a whole conspiracy theory in Israel, like these fucking Arabs.
I know, these fucking Arabs, man. They brought it in. They came from Syria, and the refugees from Syria brought the COVID with them. Achtung, das Blut der Amerikaner! It's gonna be World War III, bro. Corona-chan.
Fucking red.
Yeah, man, we're gonna have to see what the second wave brings. I feel like Norway's got its shit together. All of Scandinavia has their shit together. So let's find out what they do, what happens to them. I feel like the most important question is whether or not people get reinfected. That's the most important thing. if we know whether or not people get reinfected,
If people
just
get
solves
reinfected,
everything.
you're fucked.
yeah, but that's what I mean. I think they know. I think they just don't want to tell us. Because if you knew, right? If you knew that people could get reinfected, would you tell people?
No.
You wouldn't. You'd be like, I wouldn't tell them.
They start calming it down, right? You're
They'd
gonna
be like,
open the
wait
shops.
up,
You're
hold
gonna
up.
open the shops,
Just buy time. Just buy time until there's a
Fuck out of
vaccine.
you.
Just buy time, all right? Let's listen up, okay? We won't, and honestly, I genuinely think that's what's happened most of the throughout this whole thing, as far as the PR thing is concerned. I feel like for the longest time, the reason they seem like they don't know what they're doing is because they're trying to figure out what they should and shouldn't tell us. And then Trump doesn't give a fuck. Trump just says anything that's on his head.
Have you seen the Chinese? No, bro. Like I used to be like skeptical about this whole China's playing the numbers thing with the corona thing.
Right, yeah.
Right. But I'm becoming more and more of a believer now.
They're like when we were talking about the Wuhan viral lab, it was a conspiracy theory at the time. Now it's like taken
You're
seriously.
expecting me to believe that there's plus 2 cases a day.
Come
plus
on.
3. Augusta.
Plus 2 that are living, you know. They're just playing a little bit of Chinese accounting.
Wait a minute. Did I see you at the hospital last week?
I'm telling you, man. The guy that did the Donald Trump don't trust China. The guy saw it coming, man. He was in Hong Kong at the time. He's like, I know what's coming. I work in Wuhan at the time. Don't trust China, Donald Trump. Nobody. He's just telling the world ahead of time. We didn't listen.
Free Hong Kong.
Do you know people are like comparing the whole pandemic to Jaws, the movie?
Really?
Do you know that? Yeah.
How?
Because they're looking at all the world leaders that are like, we need to open back
We
up
need
for
to
the
open the beach.
Yeah. It's swimming season. The summer's here. Or tourists are coming. We need to open the beach. Sheriff Beatty, stop panicking. I swear, man, this is a unique time. I swear, the world has just gotten sillier and sillier. I feel like I'm in a simulation.
Oh man, I haven't laughed like this in a
Right?
while.
I swear we're in a simulation. I swear. All right, only learn something new about Florida. You're welcome, man. I'm more than happy to help. Right, so we're well past the time here. I really enjoyed it, man.
Right
Beautiful
on.
show.
That was fucking amazing, bro.
So thank you guys for listening. It was been one of the funnest episodes we've had in ages. Honestly, I've missed having this kind of banter back
Hell
and
yeah,
forth.
man.
And just to remind you guys, please don't forget to share, to like, to subscribe, especially when it comes to the comments at the bottom. If you're listening to this after the fact, if it's not on the live, if you liked it, make a comment in the bottom, or even ask us questions, give us topic advices, things you'd like us to cover, feedback, whatever you want, because
All
the
that good
comments are the rocket fuel for that YouTube algorithm. It actually kicks in, and then YouTube goes, oh, people like this thing.
100 subscribers,
100,
bro.
100. Because we're getting close to 100 subscribers, guys. Thank
You know
you for
you
that.
get, you get like the silver play button. We're gonna get the piece of shit
We
play
are.
button for like 100 subscribers.
100% pure bullshit. This bull has eaten nothing but mahogany. That's it. So thank you guys again. Also, reminding everybody that on the audio platforms, I'm going to try to keep it as quick as possible to release stuff. With episodes like this, it's a lot easier because we're not using any kind of media formats. We're not putting in a video.
Very streamlined.
So very streamlined, very straightforward. Going to put that on there on iTunes and Rami, Spotify, everything else. And what else am I going to announce? Again, I'm reminding you guys that the titles will be changing from now on. So the names on all episodes going forward will just be Bedouin Banter. The number of the episodes so far since the start of this podcast, it's now reached 28 episodes. So that means I'm going to be going back retroactively on everything we've posted, changing the titles to the numbering to just say Bedouin Banter and the number. So it's easier for everybody that's listening on the audio platforms. But the thumbnails will still say, you know, Bedouin Ranter or Banter or Banter Buddies. Bedouins Up Close, so you can.
And they're going to be color coded.
They're color coded. They're already kind of different looking than each one, so you'll kind of know just looking at it if you're on YouTube. Like this one's the Bedouins Up Close, and everybody's going to have their own playlist as well. So
right on.
There you go. Thank you guys for listening. Matrook, you want to plug anything?
Thank you for listening, and may the 4th be with you.
That's right. May the 4th be with you guys. Shout out to you all at the podcast. I'll see you guys another day. You've been listening to the Bedouin Banter podcast. Bye. Gotta hit that stop. There we go.